What up, Alec? What up, E?
What's up,
What
guys?
up?
How you doing? It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've done a session, so it's
It
good to get you guys
has.
back in the room.
It's good to be back. The boys are back in town.
Boys are back in town.
Let's do it.
So, guys, we've got two audiences here today. We've got one on Zoom. We can bring you on stage if you're in Zoom. If you're on our other stream, just send me messages. I'm watching on both screens here to see any questions coming in. But unfortunately, we can't bring you on stage if you're not here in Zoom. But feel free to send in your questions. Our intention for today is really to create like an office hours environment. So if you are new to AI, you are already using AI but want to become more proficient, or just here to hang out, we welcome all of you. I see a few of you in the audience here on Zoom. If you have a question, you can drop it in the chat, or you can come up to stage if you raise your hand, and we'll bring you up on stage here, and you can ask your question live. So feel free to jump in, guys. To kick this session off, one of our most loyal members, Jean, she sent in a few questions over LinkedIn. She said she
Nice.
might not be able to make it, but you guys all know Jean. She's been a wonderful part of our community since day one. And her question isn't so much AI related as it more so pertains to just starting a business. And so Jean's question is, hey, Justin, I have a non-technical question for you. You may or may not have the answer, or maybe you know someone who does. I've had this app idea in my head for at least 10 years and nobody has done it. I would like input for it, but concerned the people I speak with may steal the idea and run with it. Is there a way to protect my idea? So I think I'll just kick off by saying, Gene, first, thanks for the question. Thanks for being a part of the community. In addition to that, I think this is a common fear amongst a lot of entrepreneurs. Well, what do I do if someone steals my idea? So there's different schools of thought here. And Ian, Alec, I know you guys are going to have an awesome perspective on this, but I'll kick it off by saying, like, just do the thing. Just do it. Like, you have a unique vision that you can bring to life in a way that nobody else can. And hey, you're going to have to market it at some point. So how are you going to stop someone from competing with you at that point once you start marketing it, take it to market? The number of apps and businesses that are stolen ideas that have become, billion-dollar companies. Like, you even look at Anthropic, OpenAI, they're, poaching team members. I mean, everybody does it. Everyone's out here stealing ideas, but no one can steal your vision or your execution. So ideally, you have a competitive advantage or a moat. If you have a data moat or some type of informational moat, or maybe a relationship based moat, there's different moats you can have when you launch a business that can protect you. But yeah, it's uphill battle trying to protect someone from stealing your idea. It's just bound to happen, especially once you start getting traction.
Yeah, all great points, Justin. And I think this is the perfect room to ask that kind of question. All three of us are entrepreneurs. I know, like, most of the content that we stick to is AI related, but at the same time, we've all started companies, we all run companies. So we love these kind of questions. If anyone in the chat wants to throw more kind of startup business idea type questions, feel free to do it. I'll mirror some of the things Justin said, in that the moat is hardly ever the idea. And the moat is the execution and the work. Starting a business is incredibly hard. And for someone to, hear your idea and be like, I'm going to go do that. Nothing's necessarily going to stop them, other than the fact that it's really difficult and it takes a lot of work to get something off the ground. So given that the moat likely isn't going to be the idea, it's really the execution. Just focus on that. And, like Justin said, you're going to have to take it out and market it at some point. So people are going to know about it. Just have your moat be the work that you're willing to put into the idea.
Yeah, actually, Alec, that was exactly what I was going to say. Is I had a friend who went to Anderson School of Business, UCLA's business school, and after he graduated, he told me that he spent $100,000 on this business degree. And I said, "Was it worth it?" He goes, "Nope. I could sum it up in one sentence." I said, "Tell me." He said, "Ideas are a dime a dozen. It's execution that matters." And I was like, "Well, thank you for the $100,000 education there. Uh, very much true in my entrepreneurial life. I used to be afraid of sharing ideas with people. And what I found is actually when I had an idea, other people had the same idea. I had an idea back in 98, I think, called Get Unique. I bought the domain. I was going to build it out, and I didn't know how to follow through. I didn't know how to build back then. And later, I don't know how many years later, but Etsy was formed, and it was the exact same idea. So people may not steal your idea, but ideas come to the earth in kind of batches, which is why you get multiple LLMs, why you get multiple social networks, and sometimes it's spurned by other ideas. But also, I've learned that when I start a business idea, nobody's going to steal it until it's proven. So when it's proven, then they're like, "Oh, I'm going to do that too." But before that, it's really just two people taking on the same artist or different artistic expression of an idea. And kind of like what we did on one of our builds, our live builds, where we all built the same thing. Remember that, guys?
Oh
We
yeah.
uh, we all had the same prompt or the same idea, but then we all built it totally differently. And so, Gene, I would say build to your vision. And if somebody steals it, well, sucks for them because that's just a bad thing to do as a human. But if they do it, they're not going to do as well as you because you have the vision, just like Justin said. So I agree with both these guys, and I say run and don't be afraid to talk about it.
100%. Yeah, I'd say there's very, very few exceptions as well. Like if you came up with Ozempic 10 years ago, yeah,
Right.
you're gonna want to keep that under wraps until you can either get it in front of the right people or take it wide. But with 99.999% of business ideas, it's not really a risk, and it's something you're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
So Gene, hope that's helpful. Just go for it. If you need help getting started, all three of us would love to chat with you and help you wherever you're blocked. So you know where to find us. Guys, we have a handful of questions here from the stream. I'm going to drop it in the chat. It says, I read Reddit might block Google entirely because AI overview killed their traffic. As a business owner, should I still be investing in SEO? I'll take this one first, guys, because I was actually doing some research just this morning, and let me pull this up for you guys so you can see it on the screen here. But essentially, I won't answer your question directly, but what I will say is that you know what has happened recently is that Reddit has kind of disappeared from the ChatGPT citations. It used to be the number one source. I believe it was like Reddit, followed by YouTube, followed by like Capterra um, and a wide range of other citations. And so what was happening was there were so many companies who were investing into like Reddit marketing strategies, and they were investing into hiring Reddit marketing agencies, and they were kind of boots on the ground commenting in all the forums on Reddit, so they would get cited by LLMs. Now, so my answer to you would be, as a business owner, should you still be investing in SEO? Absolutely. You absolutely should continue to invest in SEO, and but more importantly, you should be investing in telling your brand story at scale. How do you continue to get your brand message out there, not only through Reddit, not only through Google, not only through Facebook, or insert any social channel, but you should try to be everywhere all at once. So there's a lot of great social tools that can help with this, where they do one-click syndication. So instead of just logging into Instagram and posting, logging into Facebook and posting, logging into Reddit and posting, you can make a post and it distributes to all the networks. I can't think of the tool off the top of my head. However, I will leave it in the show notes and send it out in the follow-up email, what tools I'd recommend for that. But Alec, do you have any thoughts on this? Should you, as a business owner, still be investing in SEO, or should you be reconsidering your Reddit strategy, or strategizing about how to rank on LLMs in general?
I I would say absolutely. People are always still going to look for stuff, and you always want to be found by them if you have what they're looking for. to invest in Reddit only is a mistake. To invest in anything that's a third party platform only is a mistake, because I've seen Google do this. I've seen so many platforms do this, make a kind of a fickle change, and suddenly your entire business model is out the door. So, I mean, it actually makes me nervous when I hear people are built on Salesforce. I know Salesforce is solid, but it's like, what if something happens with Salesforce where they build that tool that you built into their system? You're out of luck. Your business is gone, you know? So building on other platforms or for other platforms is always makes me nervous. You always have to have, you know, multiple eggs in multiple baskets, but those baskets are still worthy because it's people finding you. So don't give up on SEO or AEO or LLMs. They're still looking for people. So, Alec, I think you're probably more keen on this because there's leads and all that.
Yeah, and it's funny because whenever this question was asked, I was thinking it was more tuned to you, given most of my lead gen stuff is paid at this
Mm.
point. But on the SEO side, I mean, there's no doubt that it's still relevant and it's still here and it still matters. I think Ian raises a good point, and like you don't want to be over indexed on any one platform. You need to have a strategy where you're generating traffic and generating leads from multiple different sources. So I definitely mirror that point and agree with that. And just to overall with the question, should you still be investing in SEO? I'm gonna say absolutely.
Good question, though.
Yeah, and here we have, I'll share my screen. Let me know if you guys can see this. You guys see this chart here?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, what this is just showing is, this is from Prompt Watch. I haven't used them. I recommend using Echo Check for staying on top of how you're ranking on LLMs. That's a tool that Ian built in-house that's been very helpful for growing our businesses. But what this graph is showing is Reddit citations falling off a cliff here on August 14th. So when you search
Wow.
something in ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, etc., typically you'd see a lot of Reddit citations coming up. And now it looks like it's trending towards zero. So I don't know if there's some drama going on between Reddit and these LLMs or what exactly how this transpired. But yeah, it just reinforces what Ian and Alex said. Don't over-index on any one thing. Think about your marketing kind of like investing. You wouldn't invest all of your money into Bitcoin. Maybe you would, but you'd probably prefer to be diversified in real estate, stocks, bonds, cash, so that if anything happens to any one of your investments, you're still hedged against that you know, unsystematic risk. So yeah, just stay diversified, guys. That's our tip for you there. We've
I
got
wonder. Oh, I wonder if this has anything to do with Alec. You still using OpenClaw,
Not all the time,
Hermes?
but
Uh,
yeah, still using
I,
OpenClaw a bit.
I use it almost exclusively with ChatGPT 5.6, and just starting today and kind of last night, it has gotten really stupid, and I don't know what's going on. It's kind of gotten lazy where it starts to say, "Yeah, I'll do that," and then it doesn't do it. And my employees and others that are using it are also saying the same. I'm wondering if there must be some big shifts happening over at OpenAI, because it's noticeable. And when it's noticeable
When
to me,
isn't
it's like,
there? When isn't there big shifts happening at OpenAI?
I don't like this shift. I hope they shift back real soon.
Yeah, that's not
But
good.
I wonder if it has something to do with that. I don't know. Behind
Yeah,
the
what I've
scenes.
found is that there's also a story I read, it was either this morning or last night, that Reddit is walling off content to essentially force, whoever it is that wants to train on their data, well, you got to pay for it. You can't just endlessly
Mm.
scrape all their, you know, decades of really rich content that they've accumulated. And so I think the era of free training data is ending. I've even seen another company implement something similar where they block all bot traffic, or if you do want to scrape it, you have to pay like in microtransactions for every page view. So
Oh, wow.
perhaps that's been a part of it as well, them trying to commercialize their data instead of it just being scraped for free, which
Hmm.
totally makes sense from a business point of view for Reddit.
Yeah.
um, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that could
Interesting.
be. On the note of this is something I had to talk about today. On the note of like kind of two organizations, in this case, Google and Reddit, having some, kind of turmoil. Now that I'm going to talk about Anthropic and the US government. Now that I think we can all remember what a month ago when Fable was coming out and the government
Hmm.
was like, no one can use it. You guys remember
Right.
that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Can we like can we talk about how obviously bullshit that is? Like now I'm seeing everybody talking about canceling their Claude subscription because Claude sucks, and the government saying that it's too powerful for regular people to have. Like, where is this variance happening? I have a couple of
I
theories.
know. I know
Go ahead.
two people today. One's been developing with Claude for years, and the other for about a year, who canceled their subscription and went to Grokbot.
And
Like canceled. Yeah.
we were told that this model is so good that it's too dangerous for you to have. So, I think at this point, at least in my mind, Anthropic has, and this is great strategy and like just their fear mongering, like anything that
Hmm.
drops is just like, how many times have you heard Claude killed this new Claude plugin is killed legal, or this new
Oh yeah, yeah.
Claude accountants are dead because this new Claude plugin. It's straight marketing from Anthropic. I'm just like fear mongering. So like, what is that like with the government tie-in too? Is that the government just asserting its power over Anthropic because of their like contract situation? Is it the government trying to make that right and support their marketing efforts in a way and like validating that this model's super strong, so we'll ban it and well that'll smooth things over? Or like what is it? Because it's obvious bullshit. I mean, you're take the contrast from a month ago. This model's too powerful for you to have, and now my X feed is bombed with people canceling their subscription. So like make it make sense, please.
Yeah, maybe they're nerfing the models for the layman, and we're just getting like when you buy a certain model of a BMW or a Mercedes, they can go 200 miles an hour, but they have governors on the engine so that you can't go past 140. And so
Hmm.
maybe there's some of that happening in the background where we're getting a nerfed model. Who knows? Who's to say? I've been frustrated. I love Claude, still my daily driver. But I find it so verbose, and it's like just the way it's answering. It's like, hey, just give me what I want. I
Yeah.
don't need this like short novel, and that's partially a skill issue or me being lazy and not programming you know it to be more succinct with me. But I do see a lot of frustrations across the board with Claude. And Alec, you're exactly right. What's the disconnect where there's you know this is a national security threat for the layman to have Claude Fable 5, but no one's happy with the product as of late. So yeah, Ian, and to your point, I think we're going to see a big migration to Rockbot. I mean, just the I haven't personally used it myself yet, but everyone I've talked to who has is just so elated by it. The harness they say is great, and the loops and skills, and reminds me a bit of the OpenClaw craze. And
Hmm.
so, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out and who ends up winning this race.
Yeah, there was a movie a while back. It was a funny movie about North Korea. You guys remember this? I forget what it was called.
Is this the one with Dave Franco or James Franco?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Remember, it got
it
banned in
was
North
like,
Korea, or it got banned somewhere.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
It's
because
the
we
same.
were getting threatened to get nuked by Kim
Yes, it's
Jong
the
Un.
same tactic. It's the same tactic. So I think if I were Anthropic and I wanted to raise awareness without advertising, I would go to the government and show it all the dangers and possibilities that my model had, and then make the government say, no, 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 we can't do that. Because remember, like the other one got out of the box and like found all these vulnerabilities, and even before that, there was something else. I can't remember what it was, but they've done this for a while, where they show
Yeah,
the worst parts, so it raises all this fear, and then they say, we'll handle it, don't you worry,
right. That's a
which
really
is
good
very
point.
glad.
I guess my question would be, at what point do these claims like lose their sting? Because like there was a, this still might very well be happening, but like rewind a few months back, every single announcement from Anthropic would like kill sectors on public markets. Like
Hmm.
when they announce a legal plugin, all the legal stocks take a dump. Like everything they say, like it just moves the market or like it dominates your feed. And like
Yeah.
at least personally, I now everything I see, I'm like, give me a break. Like, is that a widely adopted sentiment or like I don't know. I
Right.
just feel like everything they said has lost its power to me.
Yeah. Do you guys think there's a bubble, AI bubble? You think it'll pop?
It's bound to at some point. They always do. If you look at the past, yeah, it's gonna pop. But Ian, we've talked about this before, and um, it's like right now, locally, there's a bubble, but in the long
Mm,
term, midterm time horizon, we're very, very early. I mean, just the way you see these valuations getting so inflated, and
mm.
someone will leave OpenAI or Anthropic, go out and raise like $100 million seed round just because they were on the research team at Anthropic. And it's like the way money's getting thrown around in Silicon Valley right now to anyone just because of their credential. And I'm sure these
Mm.
people are brilliant computer scientists and PhDs and in name a field, but for hundreds of millions of dollars to be thrown around for a seed round just because of your name, that is insane. That's
Yeah.
absolutely insane. The valuations are so frothy right now. I remember when like $1 million seed round used to be a lot. Like Y Combinator used to give people, I don't know, 100, 200K and take 7.5% of their company. I now see companies raising 100 million seed round pre-product, pre-revenue with just a
Yeah.
team. Like that is indicative of a bubble, at least in private markets. I don't know about public markets, but when you see this like incoming, what is it, $2, $3 trillion IPO by Anthropic, like that's insane. There's never been an IPO that big in the history of the world. So I think we're certainly in
Wait,
a
how
bubble,
much?
but that doesn't mean
How
this isn't the
much?
future. I think it's 2 or 3 trillion IPO.
Whoa.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're in a bubble, but that doesn't mean it's like fugazi. It's like the .com era. It's like, yeah, you had pets.com or whoever IPOing and they weren't making money. But hey, look, there's tons of incredible internet businesses now, but the valuations was simply overinflated in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I think we're seeing that again here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's a unique nuance with AI. Like when you think about the dot-com bust and everything and how many of the major players were public versus now, like, obviously everyone's making the motion towards IPO, but like all the big players are still privately held companies, which is an interesting nuance, at least for the most part. One of the craziest things I've seen so far was the Leopold dude, the like AI
Mm.
hedge fund guy. Dude, he went from being the man, like one week he's the absolute man, to like all of a sudden nothing. Like
Huh.
literally overnight. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I think there's a hype. I mean, that's insight, Justin. I didn't know all that, but I was thinking more like the hype of AI. Like everybody's talking about it. It's kind of like the internet. It reminds me of that. Because after a while, I mean, I remember this Bryant Gumbel, Good Morning America. He's like, .coms and what are these things? What's an email? And it was so old, boomer. But I think right now we're all talking about AI, but pretty soon it will be ubiquitous. It'll just be, right? But just like blockchain and just like even NFTs and DAOs and everything else, there's a lot of value in it that once the hype settles, we'll actually see things going there. I'm reveling in this time because I see the value. The three of us do at least, and everybody on these calls, we see the real value in AI, and it's way beyond what people are doing using it for now. So I'm kind of hoping that there is a bubble and it bursts and people kind of lose interest because then guys like us get a longer runway to build awesome things. Oh,
Chad, use
all right.
for the connecting trading view, use their MCP. I'm not sure if you've tried that yet,
Oh,
but
sorry, we didn't get to
uh,
this question, did we?
yeah, highly recommend checking that out if you haven't. I just looked into it. They do have an MCP. So not sure you've tried it, but I personally don't have experience in that field. Sorry we didn't get to you sooner. We've got a lot of questions coming in here on the stream. But yeah, Ian, I mean, but here's the thing too, is I was at a friend's party last week and they were kind of laughing about AI. Like,
Mm,
oh, people think it's going to be curing cancer and it's going to be replacing teachers in schools. But then you saw today, Moderna came out with a vaccine for, I believe it was melanoma, that is personalized treatment. So it caters specifically to you as an individual.
mm.
And there, it just went through, I think, stage 3 trials, which is a huge win. And their stock, I think, doubled today so far. So, you know,
Wow.
is there a financial bubble and private markets with valuations being way too frothy? Absolutely. But is there real value creation happening? Absolutely. And I mean,
Mm,
you look at this back to Anthropic, you look at their IPO and you say 3 trillion, that's crazy. But I mean, their growth rate right now and their run rate is, I haven't checked their revenue lately, but they're just growing and growing and growing, like going complete gangbusters. And then you have someone like Databricks. I'm not sure you guys have looked into them. They just raised a series G or H, whatever it was. But that's a real business, and they're providing a lot of the infrastructure and cloud services for these kind of like AI training models. And so, you see these companies like Anthropic going public. Um, they have the numbers to back it. You have Databricks will be going public later this year, next year. They have the numbers to substantiate their valuation, but I'm just more concerned about the private markets, these early seed stage, pre-seed companies getting
yeah,
9-figure valuations before having anything.
that's
Um,
insane.
I'll switch gears here, guys. I got a question in from the stream. Hat GPT just hit a Chat GPT, I think they mean just hit 1 billion users. Does that mean that everyone's using the same tool and there's no edge anymore? Alec, you guys want to take that one?
Yeah, there's absolutely an edge. I mean, like look at let's isolate this to like its most basic example of like, hey, everybody, the paintbrush just came out, and now everybody has a paintbrush. Does that mean there's no edge? Like, no. Of course, there's an edge. There's going to be people who put in more hours painting and are more creative with the way that they use the brush. And that's going to be your edge is one, using it more and using it in creative ways. And plus, like, there's so many tools outside of chat. Like, chats is like the bare minimum. Uh, so, I mean, there's absolutely an edge in using other tools like a Claude Code, like a Codex, like OpenClaw. And it's an interesting point I wanted to bring up today, in that I had a demo call with a software company that I'm going to be using for my business last week. And for the setup, he literally told me he had no idea who I am, like from a technical standpoint, or what my capabilities are. And literally on the onboarding call, he's like, "Oh yeah, just use the MCP and hook it up to Cloud Code and have it set it up for you." Like
Mhm.
his just expectation was that I knew how to do that, and that's what I was going to use, which fortunately I do. But it's crazy that that's where we are. Is that like an MCP server is just like assumed to have, and my point is that working out of a tool like an OpenClaw, like Claude Code, like Codex is going to be incredibly important as you see work, kind of turning into being an agent coordinator and having your agents working for you. Um, so I think there's absolutely an edge, and your edge is in using more tools outside of just the basic ones, and being more creative with tools that you do then master.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Each of us have our own expression on Earth. We're made for a purpose. You just walk out that purpose. We all are made like completely different viewpoints, different ideas. I mean, I haven't heard an idea yet, back to Gene's point, that I wanted to take and make my own. I'm like, oh, awesome, dude. Make it happen. Go do it. But beyond that, AI right now is still stuck in a box. The best we can do with it is chat with it in text or talk to it. But like there's so much more that can be done with AI because it's actually a thinking mechanism that we haven't even explored yet. Honestly, I think interfaces are going to have a complete overhaul in the near future because we're not stuck to these screens anymore. We don't have
Yeah.
to be. I think the way we interact and think and build. I mean, I'm not talking Neuralink, but we haven't even gotten into 3D printing. With AI, let alone like connecting it to machinery. I mean, I guess Elon has a little bit, but there's so much more with AI that beyond just chat GPT. I mean, yes, everybody will have it. So you don't have that edge that nobody has that tool. Yes. But what you do with it and how you think about it, just lean into your as creative angle as you can. Think big and then think bigger and then think even bigger, and lean that way. You really won't have any competition. We're no longer on a path where we're competing with each other. We're on a plane where we're all running in different directions. And the further out you go, the further away you are from somebody. And so there's no competition. It's all creative.
Right. I like your point on the interface change because part of my point on the, hey, set it up with my MCP, like that's a founder of a company telling me not to use the web app, use the
Mhm.
MCP to set it up and just run it out of Claude Code. Like net, you don't
Right.
even have to go on the website,
Right.
which is a huge shift. I mean, that's an interface change. Like it's all shifting very fast. I'm doing the 75 hard right now, so I'm drinking a gallon.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'll be back in 2 minutes.
It might be longer than 2 minutes. He's gallon a day. Whew.
That's all right.
Um,
What else
we've
we
got
got?
a good question. I'll take this one. This is a fun one. So, Anthropic is adding watermarks to AI content for the EU. Will people be able to tell my marketing content was written by AI? And does that matter? Yeah, so this is it was just a matter of time, before this I think was brought to the surface. The amount of AI slop that is on the internet right now is atrocious. I mean, you look at LinkedIn. LinkedIn used to be a place where I feel like people generally didn't post, right? It was maybe like 1 in 1,000 people were even posting. I don't know the exact numbers on that, so don't quote me, but now you see everybody is a thought leader on LinkedIn, and you can tell it's written by AI, just the M dashes and their pros, and it's just turned into a cesspool of just horrendous content that nobody wants to see. So what LinkedIn introduced was a report this as AI slop button, which I think is brilliant. It's a very simple but elegant solution. If something looks like AI slop, you're going to get reported now. And so what we're seeing here with this question, Anthropic adding watermarks to the AI content, I don't know the mechanism they're using, if it's some Unicode or if it's some I don't think it would be a traditional watermark in the traditional sense, but yeah, they're going to penalize you, or Google's going to penalize you for putting AI slop on your website, potentially, is what it sounds like. And my solution to this is doing real, authentic content like we're doing right now. So every client I work with, we do YouTube videos, we do video content, we do in person meetups, we do online meetups like the one you're seeing right now. The more you can lean into authenticity, the more you're going to win over the next 1, 3, 5, 10 years. People are craving human connection. People are craving authenticity. So, yeah, just, you know, will people be able to tell my marketing was written by AI? Yeah, they will. And also, Google's going to know, and everyone else is going to know. So, do real content, guys, and just lean into that more and more.
Yeah. I have a little to say on that. If you're asking that question, people can already tell your marketing is written by AI. So you can almost tell anybody's marketing, even scripts for video, YouTube videos I've seen. It's like, oh, I know who wrote that, even though you're saying it. It sounds like AI.
Let's delve
Um,
into it.
what's that? Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
delve into
Yeah.
It's
You're not
not this,
noticing
it's
a,
that.
yeah, you're not noticing a change. You're noticing a tectonic shift. It's like, oh,
it.
wow, it's so much bigger than, you know. So I actually, I mean, I'm fine with that. I would just say don't stop thinking, and don't stop interacting with people, and you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine.
Yeah. Welcome back, Alex. So the question was about Anthropic adding watermarks to AI content, and the question is, will people be able to tell my marketing was written by AI? Does it matter? And so my take was just don't do it. Like Ian said, don't stop thinking, but really lean into doing authentic content, authentic marketing, kind of like we're doing right now on webinars or in-person meetups. People are craving human connection. Alec, do you have a take on this?
Well, shout out to the EU for always prioritizing the most important things and most important issues that they're facing at the moment. So shout out to them for that. Really, really
Yeah, good for
push
them.
innovation.
Yeah.
So gotta love that. Shout out to the EU one time. Um, but yeah, I mean, look, like everyone's using AI to generate pretty much everything. I think, as a marketer and whatever it is that you do, um, you should be using AI, but it shouldn't be obvious that you are. It leaves a big distaste in everyone's mouth when you can tell clearly that something's, made with AI. So always, it's good to use AI for ideation and, maybe expanding upon your ideas, but to completely remove your brain and critical thinking from it is a bad idea. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, always be putting a twist on it and, using your own creativity. And don't just take whatever LLM gives you and use that. Always have it be a collaboration between you and the model.
Did you guys see that there was a city board or a governor, I forget what it was, reading a speech, and at the end said something like, "You see this, Justin?" Like,
Yeah,
I
it was
forget what
like,
he said, but it was
how
something.
was that answer? Would you like me to say it
Yeah,
in a,
it
would you like me to say
was
it more
so.
succinctly or?
Oh, it's like when people use AI straight and then copy it and then claim it as their own. That's where you get in trouble. So just make it your own, like Alex said. You use it to research. We're all using it to research. There's no harm in that,
Right.
and you don't even have to state that. I use it to build things all the time, but I never say a blog post that was written by AI was written by me, and I never write. I rarely write emails with AI.
Right.
I
Yeah,
write
I
my
guess
own.
that's
So
that's an interesting point, and that it kind of highlights that delivery is more important than ever, right? Because like to your point, we are all using AI for ideation and expanding upon idea, like writing a speech, for instance. Like, you might come up with your outline and you're using AI to refine it and expand upon ideas. And if you deliver it and, forget to omit the the end piece that ChatGPT gave you, and it's obvious that you used AI, it's distasteful. But when you deliver that well and you used AI, like you end up getting a better result. So, and that goes for really
yeah,
any content medium. Like if you have a LinkedIn post and it's filled with M dashes, it's going to be like, ugh. But
yeah,
if you present it well, then it's great. You have a better output than you would have had just you, most likely. So delivery, very important.
yeah.
Guys, next topic here. We've got two more questions I see from the chat. One is, how are you using agents daily? It seems like fluff. Um, I'll kick that off by saying, start by building agents that replace some like tedious task that you have to do daily or weekly that you don't want to be doing. It'll save you a lot of time and energy. For instance, anytime we do one of these sessions live, I have agents that do a lot of work behind the scenes to um, help get the message out there more. So that's part of marketing, right? Getting your brand message out there more. So we have an agent running in the background that pushes it out to the right people, advertises to the right people. And then we have some agents that help us edit the video and turn it into shorts and then publish it omni-channel, like I shared before. So that's an agent I use daily for marketing. And again, it's not making these videos for us. We're three humans here in the live and flesh. We're putting out real, authentic content, but there's so much cumbersome work behind the scenes that no human has the time to do. Uh, or you'd have to hire someone to do it. It's a lot of work. So just try replacing yourself, whatever the task may be, no matter how big or small. And that's how I'd recommend using it daily. It's not fluff from my point of view, unless you're just like building agents for the sake of building agents. Then yeah, maybe that is fluff.
Yeah. I'll say when I started working with my agents in January, OpenClaw, Um, I prototyped for a few weeks, and I thought I was doing a lot of work, but it turns out I wasn't. It was just like testing the limits. What can it do? And once I realized that, I was like, wait, this is not really actual value. That's when I took a step back and said, what? Because I had the same question. It felt like fluff after a while. And I was rich with ideas and tools, but really no value. So I stepped back and said, okay, I need to actually make these things do things that I couldn't have done before for real world problems or issues or needs. And so that's when I started doing things like building the LMS for my wife's school. In fact, yesterday I released a new feature in there that basically lets you invite a tutor or a grandparent into the LMS so that they can manage your students. So it's a hybrid of homeschooling and school. So 2 days the kids are home. Some people want a tutor to help their kids, right? So I did that, and then I invited the first tutor, and it was my OpenClaw named Eden, who's on this computer. And then I started working with it with my kids while they were studying. And I said, I wonder if I could just make this an app. So I asked her last night to make an app, and she did. It's this little fox that it's backwards. You can't read it, but I can click into one of them and yeah, there. And it has all of their assignments that are from the LMS in there. And then they can actually talk to this AI bot on this iPad app. It's all connected internally just in my own system. But I just thought, I wonder if I could do that. If you ever have that thought, pursue it. You won't find fluff there. You'll find real solid gold. You know, they haven't even used it. They haven't even seen it yet. I'm excited to show them tomorrow because they're home.
Yeah, agreed. I will say the fluff point is important because I'm sure the three of us, we've all spent many hours building shit that we no longer use and we'll never use again, which is
Yeah.
good. You know, you're sharpening the axe and you're figuring out what's working and what's not. So it is important to, look at things through that lens of like, hey, is this something that's actually worth building out? Will I actually use this? And, if I have this rich report that's put together by an agent every morning and goes to my emails, and 2 weeks later that report comes in and I just don't even look at it, like, then it probably wasn't worth it to build that agent. So it is important to, really be practical about the things that you build. And it really all starts with analyzing what are those things that you have to do on a daily basis, or what could help augment those efforts that you're doing, like maybe from a sales perspective, getting things lined up for you, or just automating some of the outreach that you might have had to do.
Yeah.
So you'll know, like, when something seems practical or impractical, you'll know based on, if it's something that you're already doing. So that's how
Right.
I would frame it. Start with things that you already have to do and try to automate those and kind of build from
I,
there.
I want to encourage to anybody on the call that's listening to this um, to be bold and know in your mind and in your heart that you can do it. There's always a fear. There's like an 80% wall where you get to, and then you're like, oh, I can't ship it. It's not going to work. Oh, this isn't, I can't do that. It's not me. It's somebody else who I'm going to read about in Inc. magazine or Forbes. No, you can actually do it. Just have that confidence that you're building something, and then test it and then show it to people. But don't get afraid that what you're doing is actually fluff. Actually know that you have the ability to build something that is valuable and worth people using, people paying for, whatever it is you're building. But you have to get past that 80%, 90% wall and make it.
Guys, if you're in the other stream, if you guys want to come to stage here in Zoom, come over to Zoom. We'll bring you on stage. I see your questions coming through here, so we'll address them here. But if you want to come on stage, you got to be in Zoom. So sorry, I can't pull you in over there. But we've got Tom. He is the founder of a Y Combinator startup. He's AI native, and he's asking us a pretty simple question, but it's a good one. What are some new tools you guys like using? Thanks, Tom. Good to see you again. Ian, Alec, any new tools you've been using that you'd recommend to our audience?
Alex, you got any? I'm trying to think.
Honestly, nothing too crazy. I mean, I am very deeply embedded within Claude Code and Codex, and are using those throughout my day, all day. So, it's kind of a basic stack, really. But what I've been able to build out with those tools has been a huge multiplier in my kind of daily output. So relatively basic tools, like nothing, I don't have Grokbot to speak on, for instance, or anything super new like that. But um, yeah, really, Codex, Claude Code,
Yeah.
kind of my bread and
Tom,
butter.
I would say like any new tools I find, I'm really over the hype of
Ian
people
just
with
builds
new.
his own.
I do. I mean, I actually said that in our first text, Alec. I don't know if you remember. It's something about skills. And I said, I don't use skills, I build them. Because that's
Yeah,
like my approach. Partly because I've found enough skills that had cryptocurrency scams inside of them. I'm like, oh, I'm not taking anybody. I don't trust anybody. Um, but any new tools I usually find from brainstorming with my agents and saying, hey, I need to do this. Is this possible? And then they say, oh, we could use this technology. WebGL was one of them, which was just for front end JavaScript stuff, you know. So I do find new tools. I can't think of any. I mean, Tailscale is really great for a connection, secure connection between the two. I actually set one up with my Mac Studio so that I could pass secret keys from my laptop to it without passing it through Telegram or any other chat. So I do build my own, but I also find new technologies that way, and it's usually like peripheral. It's like, oh great, we'll install that. Awesome, now it's there. I don't really think about the tool. I just think about what it does for me. The firepower flower, you know.
right. Yeah, agreed. I actually, yeah, now that I think about it, I mean, that's kind of, I kind of share a similar philosophy and just building a lot of my own tools with the Claude Code, with Codex. One off-the-shelf tool that I forgot about that I have been using a little bit is Viktor. Told you guys a little bit about this. It's basically just, it's embedded in Slack, which is great if you're already operating out of there. And it has like a zillion off-the-shelf connections. You could hook it up with your QuickBooks, you could hook it up with Stripe, you could hook it up with whatever, HubSpot, Salesforce, whatever it is that you're using, then you can query that and you can
Wow.
have it triage chats like within Slack, and give you overviews of what's going on. You could have your own channel with it, or you could have it join a channel. So like if someone needs some sort of data, like, hey, how many appointments do we book this week or whatever at Viktor, how many appointments do we book? And it'll go check, HubSpot or whatever. So I think
Yeah.
it's honestly really sick, especially because there's not a huge technical lift. Like it's in getting it built out. Like you just kind of sign up and get it hooked up to your Stripe. It's all kind of native. Like a lot of what I think the three of us do with OpenClaw, Claude Code, Codex is like a lot of like piecing things and stringing things together, with their APIs, MCPs, that sort of thing, which isn't practical for most people. So having this kind of like off the shelf tool is pretty sick.
Do you think we have a lot of clients at Brand Sauce that use Teams and they won't use Slack because they're not allowed to?
Yeah.
But we don't have Teams. Do you think this could be a bridge to Teams, a Teams account or something?
Say that again. How so? A bridge.
Well, like, could we actually use Teams for them, but not have Teams? Like, have it funnel into our Slack?
Oh, I see. I don't know that this would be the best tool to do that. I would think you could just wire it, like you could probably just build out a little automation that, is kind of sits in the middle. Uh,
Yeah, little API.
yeah, I don't think this is the right use case for that. I mean, maybe they have a Teams integration that'll automatically fire a message off, but I don't think that that's its like fundamental purpose. It's more of a
Okay,
AI assistant
connector.
slash agent that lives in Slack, more so than a bridge between Teams and Slack.
This is really, how much is this? I've never seen this. This is really cool.
But there's a pretty good free tier. Like you can definitely get a feel for it free. I think
Nice.
it's 100
I'm
bucks a
probably going
month
to use that.
once you're maxed.
That's great.
Pretty sick.
Like
Good
how
find.
how are you using Victor relative to other apps? Like if I signed up for Victor right now, I'd have no idea where to begin in terms of why use that versus OpenClaw, Hermes, Claude Code, etc. Could you paint a picture for me? Is it just like feels like it's in your work with you on a daily basis, or what are the benefits?
Yeah, I'd say the most important part is like proximity, because I think a lot of the benefit with AI is now we're condensing how many things we're jumping between on a day-to-day basis. Everyone is clicking through tabs and going through a million different softwares every day. with Victor, if you're already in Slack messaging with your team, like it's right there. So I'd say
Mm.
that's one of the benefits. Um, I like truly don't like fully utilize the tool. Like I said, I'm more of a Claude Code Codex guy, but I see that this is a very, very strong tool for someone that's less inclined to use a Claude Code or a Codex, given that it's just kind of plug and play and it's all, there's no real technical setup or anything like that. You just kind of give it a go and it's there. So um, I would say it's a tool that I view as practical for pretty much everyone. Something that and just tinkering around with it a little bit, I enjoy. So, um, yeah, Victor, shout out Victor.
Tom says, thank you, Alec. Tom, thanks for the question. I've got one for you guys that I've been having a lot of fun with. I'm going to share my screen here. Let me know if you guys can see this all right. It is called FLORA.ai. Have
Oh,
you
you've
guys
showed
heard
me
of
this
this?
before. You've shown me this. Oh, wait, is this the one you've shown me before? I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I may have at some point, but Flora, the best way to describe it is describing a pain point that I felt, and I think a lot of people, when they're doing creative work, feel when they're building with AI. Um, AI, in my experience, has a hard time really like getting to know your brand and building on top of your brand book, your brand guideline, keeping it feeling cohesive and consistent. And so, Flora, I'll show you guys an example of how I've built with it. This is a workflow where I uploaded AI for NTP's color system, a little bit about our brand, our color palette, and it created these icons for me that I can now use wherever I see fit. So I can use these on the website, on social media, and the colors in this example aren't perfect just because of the way they were blended here, kind of created a gradient, but they are on brand. And then we can export them as GIFs, JPEGs, whatever format you need, all through this seamless workflow here. And another example is turning this is for my growth marketing agency, T Minus Studio, turning our logo into like a liquid glass logo.
Ooh.
And then you can, turn it into a like little, I don't know if it's gonna render.
Oh, that's cool. That is
That's
cool.
Yeah, so I found that there's a lot of cool workflows you can use on here depending on your specific use case. But I see a lot of people in e-com using it. Instead of doing
Oh,
the traditional
yeah.
product photography, they use it to render models that keep everything on brand, and it just does a really good job of that. So,
That's why you talked
Flora.ai.
about this with brand sauce. That's why I remember this. That's a cool tool. I got to remember that one. I'm gonna type that one over here
he's about
too.
to spin
I'm
up a clone of that right now.
no. Some Most of the time I do look at something and think I could build that, But some things
Oh, I
like
know
this,
you
it's
do.
like, oh, that's way too complex. I'm not gonna build that.
Ian, you mentioned brand sauce. Shoot your shot. Tell us about brand sauce. What do you do over there?
um, Well, 9 years overnight success. We've been building on-demand shops where you can basically set up your company. It's nothing to do with AI, except we're using AI to build a lot. Um, Set up a shop for your company that has all your branded swag: Carhartt, Owala, Travis Mathew, Nike, Adidas, any brand, and get your logo on branded on it. Minimum of one. No inventory, no upfront cost. Well, there's $1. You have to pay $1, but if you can afford $1, you can have a shop. And it's been we've been going nuts. It's just like constant new clients, almost about every day. I think we're averaging 5 a week every business day. So it's been awesome. We have a great team. We've grown from 5 to 35. Oh yeah, there's your shop. 5 to 35 employees in the last 6 months, and grown from, I think last year we had 40 clients, 50 clients, and now we're in the hundreds. And it's been bonkers. It's like Uber for branded products, if you think of it like that. So
We can attribute all of that growth to Justin.
Exactly.
honestly,
Ian and I have
yes, actually, yes, entirely, Justin.
Ian and I have we've had nice tag team. Past 2 years, two-man marketing team, but we're growing. We're
It's been a
growing.
good run. Yep.
Yeah, so it's been fun. Alec, close us out. Shoot your shot. What do you do? Who do you help? Who should reach out?
Yeah, 100%. I run a company called Aero AI. We do AI implementation and then we generate leads and get people more customers, primarily working in the legal and insurance space, personal injury law, workers' compensation, employment law. Then on the legal side, or on the finance insurance side, doing final expense. So those are the companies we help, having some really good results for clients and enjoying it every day. So.
AI related, AI automation for that.
That's more on the lead gen side. Like we kind of narrow in on our verticals that we do for lead generation side. On the AI side of the business, it's a little more broad. Uh, we work with a kind of a wider range of clients there, and it's kind of a consultative thing. We kind of
Okay.
do an analysis of your systems and create proposals on the lowest hanging fruit of implementing AI in your business. So that is Arrow
Love it.
AI.
It's great.
Well, guys, that was a
I
great
don't think I've
session.
ever heard. I don't think I've ever heard your pitch all the way. So I was actually, I was
There we
curious.
go.
That's great.
Where do I sign up, Alec? I'm sold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys,
Let's
if you want to
go.
reach out to Ian, learn more about Brand Sauce, reach out to Alec or myself. We'll leave that all in the show notes. You know where to find us. We do these about once a week, and we always do them live. So we're here to help and be a resource to anyone who wants to learn how to implement AI in their business. I feel like more often than not, we're talking about. Um, uh, there we go. Now we're
Hmm.
all.
This is
We should
my
come suited and booted to the next section.
Ecuadorian hat.
But yeah, guys, you know where to find us. We're here weekly. And thank you all for coming. Anyone who's watching the recording, feel free to reach out if you have any questions about implementing AI in your business.
Love you all.
Good stuff. Thanks,
Cheers,
guys.
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Cheers.